YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with some more NFL position rankings for the upcoming 2019 season. This video, I'm ranking the safeties. Again, it's predicting this upcoming year, not based off of past years or last year alone. We did plenty other position groups, plenty more to come in terms of units and team rankings, offense, defense, and then full coverage in season for the NFL. Right before we get started here, subscriber goal is at 40K by the end of this year, so please help us out. Hopefully you can join us for our full coverage of the NFL season. Click that like button. Check out our Twitter there at the top right, link in the description. The link in the top description for Patreon. It'd be much appreciated if you check that out. You can possibly get exclusive content or join our Discord chat. Plenty more. Check it out. We got 30. Actually, I ranked 33 technically safeties, so we'll just start with the bottom. I threw in, as you can see on the bottom right, I threw Jabril Peppers in there. And I've done so many of these ranking videos, and I had no problem just going 32. Like that, there was some tough choices. It was close between 32, 33, but in this, specific video, it was hard not to talk about Jabril Peppers because I think he'll improve. I think he'll have a good year. I mean, technically, there's at least 64 starting safeties in the NFL because there's 2 on each team, and you have box safeties. That's why I say at least. So really, even if you're number 33, even if you're at the bottom here, you're still a good safety. So Peppers of the Giants now at 33. 32 is Bradley McDougald of the Seattle Seahawks. I liked this game a lot last year. Really stood out. Young safety can continue to improve. I like that Seahawks defensive, that secondary as a unit. There's not really a big-time player that stands out to me, but as a unit, it's pretty darn good. They work real well together. And like I was saying, I wanted to include Peppers because it was so close. Really, 31 through 33, I was kind of back and forth switching those guys around and deciding factor to put Clinton Dix ahead of those 3 at 31. He did not have a good season last year. I really haven't been too impressed with him since his early years on the Packers. But now this is his 3rd team in just a year, really, because he was on the Packers and the Redskins last year. I wasn't a fan of his game last year. I thought missed a lot of tackles. Angles were a little rough, but still, we know what he's capable of. We know he can be better, and now adding him to the Bears secondary with Eddie Jackson, Kyle Fuller, guys like that, a good group, I think that kind of gives him the edge and gets him into this top 32 at 31. 30's Tracy Walker, Detroit Lions. We saw somewhat of a small sample size from the rookie last year and was very, very impressive. Very impressive, but since it was a small sample size and there's other really, really good safeties, it's hard to put him ahead of. He's down here at 30, but still makes the cut. I think he'll start this year and definitely one to look out for. I was surprised by that draft pick, and it looks like it's a good one. Just want to see more. Demarius Randall at 29 of the Cleveland Browns. I was surprised how good of a year he had last year. Maybe I really wasn't a fan of his game in the past either, but maybe he's just found his fit. Maybe he's going to continue to play like that. I don't know if he plays quite as good this year as he did last year, but I still got him in the top 32, number 29, Demarius Randall of Cleveland Browns. We're moving on, 28 to 25 here. A lot of good safeties to talk about. 28 is going to be Justin Reid, Houston Texans. He was a rookie last year and then was, I think, a steal in the draft. He went a little later than people expected. I thought he could have went late first. And was very impressive. He can get his hands on the ball, make a play, can tackle. He's definitely one for the future, but a lot like some of these other guys coming up. It just shows how many good safeties there actually is in the NFL. Marcus May of the New York Jets. I thought his rookie year was phenomenal, and then haven't really heard too much about him, except last year was pretty solid. So he makes the list. So they can continue to play at a solid level there. Him and Jamal Adams, very good duo. 26, the other, we talked about Tracy Walker Lions. We have the other Lions safety, I think a little bit underrated. People don't really talk about Quandre Diggs a lot. And he's a little younger too. So that's a pretty good duo for the future that the Lions got. Quandre Diggs coming at 26. Anthony Harris at 25, the Minnesota Vikings. I think based off last year, much better than 25, but that was the first year he started. Kind of want to see more. But he was very impressive, a playmaker there in the secondary, and another good duo there, him and Harrison Smith. 24 to 21 is next. Number 24 is going to be Eric Weddle. Eric Weddle is really not the same to me. I thought he was a little overrated last year. He was good, but not really the same what he used to be. He's still going to make an impact for the Los Angeles Rams. I do like the Taylor Rapp draft pick, so they could split a little bit of time there. They could play all 3. They could put Rapp in the box. That's going to be interesting. Kareem Jackson at 23 in the past was a corner, safety, a little bit of both, played in the box. He's going to play safety for the Broncos. At least he's listed there for now. He was like hit or miss last year for the Texans. 1 week looked like a Pro Bowl defensive back, and then the next week missing some tackles here and there. So he's a kind of a hit or miss guy, but still makes his way into the top 32. Kenny Vaccaro, the Tennessee Titans. I thought he had his best year of his career last year. So I think it's a good fit with the Tennessee Titans. I think early on in his career, people were pretty hyped on him. I think he's a little bit overrated. And again, I think last year was an impressive year. And that's another good duo they got going in Tennessee. 21's LaMarcus Joyner of the Oakland Raiders. 2 years ago, I liked his game. Last year, I was not impressed with his game. So which Joyner are we going to get? Kind of feel comfortable putting him around here. I thought he was a little on the overrated side based off last year. Didn't think he had the best year, but he can do better. So we'll see if he does better. First year with the Raiders, though, we will see. This is kind of just where I feel comfortable putting him. A lot of good safeties in the top a lot of good safeties coming up here in the top 20 we're on to, 20 to 17. And then Malik Hooker at 20. Hasn't really lived up to the hype, really my hype. I was pretty high on him on the draft a couple years ago, and he's a playmaking safety. I think he can continue to be that playmaking safety or become that more of a playmaking safety that I expect him to be. Has dealt with some injuries. I think that could be the reason. So I think based off the past, I don't think he's been top 20 yet. I'm putting him at 20. I think he improves a little bit this year. For the Colts, they need him to there. They drafted him for a reason. Big-time playmaker at Ohio State. Interceptions like crazy. See if he can do that. Number 19 is Adrian Amos, Green Bay Packers now from the Chicago Bears. Interesting one because 2 years ago, really looked good. Looked like a top 10 safety, but that was based off 1 year, and it was kind of out of nowhere. So I think people did overreact and thought he was going to just stay as a top 10 safety. Last year, I think, struggled a little bit. Pretty good tackler. I thought just struggled with the ball downfield. With the Packers' new team here, so we'll see how he works out. It's another one where I'm kind of back and forth on. It can be better than this, but has shown signs that he's not even this good. So which one we gonna get here? This is where I feel comfortable putting him. I do like him coming up and making a tackle, though. That's part of his game I do like. 18's Patrick Chung, the veteran from the Patriots, still playing at a pretty high level there for the Patriots. Unfortunately, got hurt in the Super Bowl there, but I think we'll come back pretty strong. I still like his game. Not quite where he once was, better than 18 before, but now at 18. Landon Collins at 17. This could surprise people. I think Collins has been one of the more overrated safeties, players in football for the last several years. I've never been a huge fan of his game, but obviously at 17, I think he's still good. I don't think he's bad or anything. He's good. I think he's good coming up to make tackles. He's not going, not good going to the sideline on the angles to make tackles. Same thing when the ball's deep downfield. I think you can work on that a little bit. I like the fit with the Redskins. I do like that fit a lot. It's always been the type of safeties the Redskins always been interested, that same style of safety. The ones that really want to come up and hit you. They almost seem like linebackers at times, but they always had like kind of the mediocre ones, and now they get definitely a better version. So I do think he's good. Obviously, putting him at 17, I have him ahead of, even on this page here that you see, ahead of some good safeties. I just think most people would probably put him well into the 15, maybe even in the top 10. So I disagree with that. I think he has some work to do still. I think he can do that work, though. So it is a good fit. Got him at 17. We're on to the top 16 big-time safeties here. Number 16 is going to be Tony Jefferson of the Baltimore Ravens. I think pretty darn underrated last year. Did a whole lot. He came up in the box. He played deep as well. I thought he was an impact with his blitzes, and it seems like he's a pretty instinctive safety. He's not going to light up the stat sheet. Even though he blitzes, he's not going to get a bunch of sacks. He's going to force the quarterbacks to make bad decisions. And he's not going to light up the stat sheets with a million tackles or interceptions, but he does his job. He's kind of a lockdown, all over the place safety, which don't get enough appreciation. Micah Hyde at 15 of the Bills. 2 years ago, I think had a better season. Last year, still a good season. I think he missed a game towards the end there, but still a good season. So could take another step back to that playmaking Hyde that we kind of got used to 2 years ago. But I don't know what you're really going to get, but I still like his game. It seems like he kind of got better early years in the Packers and started developing and getting more playing time. The last couple of years looked really good. And went over the Bills, looked very solid. So he's still makes his way in the top 15 here, number 15. Number 14 is Tyrann Mathieu of the Chiefs. A playmaking safety. Best moments are kind of, in the slot, in the box, a former corner, so that makes sense. But yeah, he'll force some fumbles. He'll get his hands on the ball. So that's why he's in the top 15. I do think most people will probably put him a little higher, so maybe a little bit on the overrated side, but it's a great pickup for the Chiefs and a very good safety. 13 is Rashad Jones of the Miami Dolphins. I think another underrated one. Not enough really over the years. I think he was a top 10 safety at one point, maybe even top 5. And people, in my opinion, people didn't really recognize that. And, I think there's some young safeties that are kind of passing him up, but still top 13 here, number 13. And I think most people wouldn't put him there. He's that good. He can come up and tackle. He can play deep and get his hands on the ball, be a playmaker. I think that Dolphins secondary is pretty good, and that's where it starts right there. I know there's a corner they got that is overall their best player back there, but Jones is that leader back there, and he has been good. I don't think it's enough appreciation. We're on to the top 12 now, top 12 safeties for this year, in my opinion. Number 12 is Justin Simmons, a good young safety from the Broncos, playmaker. I think he steps up. Probably hasn't been 12 quite yet, top 20 maybe. I think he steps up this year. I think it's just kind of his time to break out, and I got him at number 12 here. So it's definitely a guy I'm looking forward to watching this year, along with all these guys. Number 11 is Malcolm Jenkins. I think has been easily a top 10 safety a couple years ago, top 5 possibly. Hasn't really, last year still a very good season. But really, you can see maybe a very, very slight decline, but it's there. And there's just some other young safeties, just getting better and passing him. So I think at 11, there's no way he's going to get better at his point, but he's still going to play at a pretty high level, I think, similar to last year. Keanu Neal at 10, unfortunately, was hurt last year. He has the capabilities of being even a top 5 safety. You come up and hit, you can cover deep. Number 10 is where I feel comfortable. There's some darn good guys in the top 9. Not that he's not a darn good safety. I just want to see him stay healthy. Jordan Poyer, I think an underrated safety. I got him at number 9. I think he's easily the better of the two Bills safeties, which most people just automatically point to Hyde for some reason. Poyer does it all. He tackles. He's a playmaker. Definitely can get some turnovers any given year. He's been underrated since Oregon State. He was undersized. He slid further than I thought he would in the draft. And he's really getting the opportunity. And it seems like he's getting more instinctive and getting stronger too. So, and still in his 20s. So I think this guy can continue to get better. I think his peak might be yet to come. I think even in his 30s, I think low 30s, I think this guy could be even better than 9. That's just kind of how I feel about Poyer. It was a guy I liked even at college ball level and just always underrated. Very good season last year. We're on to the top 8. Here we go. Number 8 is going to be Jessie Bates. I love Jessie Bates' game. He's the ultimate playmaker back there. You can put him by himself there in center field, and he'll take control over the whole field. Not too many guys can do that and just still play a traditional safety spot. And he can fly around and tackle too. He can be a special teams guy. Only a rookie last year was super impressive, and I think he takes that next step. I got him at number 8, Jessie Bates III from the Cincinnati Bengals. 7, Devin McCourty. No surprise, Devin McCourty is up here in the top 10. Past few years, maybe better than number 7, but getting up there in age. Don't think he gets better. I think he can stay the same. This is where I got him. He's clutch in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl for the Patriots. He'll continue to do that. John Johnson, I got all the way up at 6. So I think another one that's underrated because I don't know if anybody else has him higher. Another young safety that's just super impressive to me. Can do anything you ask him. Can be a playmaker at the same time. Almost a sure thing tackler. I thought he carried that secondary at times last year. Marcus Peters had his up and downs. Talib was out, and I didn't think Joyner had a great season. John Johnson was really carrying that secondary most of the year, in my opinion. And he's young. He's going to continue to get better. A big jump last year, so I can expect another jump this year. He makes the top 6. That's the third. John Johnson the third. So 2, Jessie Bates the third. I should have put that in the graphic. 2 of them. For number 5, Earl Thomas. People might be surprised by this, but at one point, Earl Thomas was the best safety in football. It hasn't really been that recent. We're talking about 3-4 years ago. I want to see him stay healthy. If he's 100% healthy, 100% the whole year, and you're guaranteeing me that, nobody really can guarantee me that, then I'd probably put him at 2. I'm not going to put him at 1. I'd probably put him at 2 up there. It's tight. Really, to me, 2 through 5 is tight. Number 1's a no-brainer for me. I'm going to get ripped for it as usual, but it's a no-brainer. There's no question. Number 5, Earl Thomas, is the capabilities of being number 2. People are just a little too hyped because what he once was, but it's going to be very cool to see him with Tony Jefferson, with that Ravens defense. It's going to be very cool. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. We're on to the top 4. Number 4 is Eddie Jackson of the Chicago Bears. I think based off last year, had the best safety season out of any of the safeties. So very impressive. Can he continue to do that? I do have a little bit of a concern with the injury because I go back to the pre-draft process and I mentioned that Eddie Jackson has first-round talent. Did I have a first-round grade on him? No, because he had several injuries, including breaking his leg recently leading up to that draft. So I thought third round made sense, but a heck of a playmaker. He is very, very good at reading quarterbacks' eyes. Very good at it. And he was a difference maker for the Bears there. Hopefully, I mean, he missed the playoff game too. Don't forget that. If he would have played, it probably would have won the game. So hopefully he can stay in game, stay healthy. He was healthy last year, and that kind of showed everybody what he's made of. He's the definition of a playmaker. You know, if even off one season, if you're just going off playmaking safeties alone, he's probably one or two. Even off of 1 year of judgment. He's got to stay healthy. And at this time last year, I think the Bears fans were kind of like expecting Amos to be up here, and now it's kind of just 1 year later. You see Jackson up here, and that's kind of where their mindset's at. So I guess anything can happen. Hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully he has another great season like that because that was special. Jamal Adams at 3, a safety that can do everything. You know, he's not going to be super flashy deep downfield being a playmaker. He'll break up passes. He'll hit you and make the ball come right out. It'd count as a pass deflection, really, because he brings the hammer there, too. And he'll come up in the box, make the tackles. He's getting pretty instinctive, too. He was my number 1 prospect in the draft a few years ago, and it's kind of showing now, so he can continue to get better. Here, we're on to my top 2. Kevin Byard is right there at Eddie Jackson for a top playmaker. He also can come up into the box and make a play in the backfield as well, but he's a big-time playmaker, flies around the field. Another guy that can play center field and really cover the entire field while they have Vaccaro and they had Cyprian in the past come up in the box and just have fun up there is basically a run stopper. So I think I like Byard a lot and got his contract. He's ready to play out this year. He's another one that's going to continue to get better, as well as the other guys. Harrison Smith, to me, is the no question number 1 safety. I know most everyone knows I'm a Vikings fan. I haven't had another Viking, not a single Viking in all these rankings I did at number 1. This is the only one I have number 1. I don't think they're in number 1 in any category, maybe receiver duo, but in terms of specific players and positions, any category whatsoever except for safety, Harrison Smith is the number 1 safety in all of football. You start combining everything that safeties can do. Can they play deep? Can they play traditional safety, free, strong? Can they come up in the box? He's number 1 in every single one of those categories, but the main thing that makes Harrison Smith stand out is his instincts, ability to read plays before they're happening. I've never seen a safety that can do that. Palomalu possibly had quite a few moments like that, but Harrison Smith just so many times I'm saying, how does this guy know the play? You see him in the backfield and you see him playing center field. I mean, the only thing he's missing is elite athleticism, and it's just still mind-blowing how he's able to do what he does, without that. So I think he's clearly the number 1 safety. I think some of these guys have pieces. Like Jamal Adams has the ability to come up and stop the run, make the tackle, play in the box, but Harrison Smith is much better, playing. He can play by himself back there, center field, but Jamal Adams on the way up. So I do like Harrison Smith at number 1. And you hear all these other players raving about him too. You hear Eddie Jackson saying he modeled his game after him. He talks about he was always watching Harrison Smith film too, and that's pretty crazy to hear. So. And I mean, that pretty much tells you it all, too. So, but Eddie Jackson's coming for him, too. He's definitely coming for him and see if he can have another year like that. I think the top 5 is pretty clear. Throw Earl Thomas in here as long as he can stay healthy. So, it's going to be interesting to watch these safeties. There's a lot of good ones, a lot of good safeties doing unique things today in the NFL. So, let me know your guys' thoughts. We went through all the positions, ranking all the positions. So, if you missed any of those, check them out. There's a playlist. It'll probably be on your screen right now. And we're also going to start ranking team offenses, defenses, units, all kinds of different stuff leading up to the NFL season. And we got full coverage for the NFL season, power rankings, recaps every single week, predictions, score predictions, plenty more. We cover college football as well. Hopefully you can join us. Hopefully you can subscribe. That's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks, everyone, for the support. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.